I'm Sandy Rose.
Hi, I'm Reverend Franklin D. Morris Jr.
Hi, I'm Pastor William Q. James, and we are the owners of WVTC Gospel Radio Network.
And I am Ramon Perry, president of WVTC.
Well, with your votes and prayers, WVTC Gospel Radio Network made it to round 2 of the Stellar Gospel Music Awards in the category of Internet Radio Station of the Year. And one last time, we need your vote.
So we need you to go to www.thestellarawards.com and click on the 2023 Radio Station Award ballot.
Once you're on the ballot, look for the category Internet Radio Station of the Year and cast your vote for WVTC Gospel Radio Network, Ramon Perry, president.
Voting is limited to 2 per household, and voting closes on Monday, May 1st.
We thank you for voting for WVTC Gospel Radio Network, and we ask that God's continued blessings upon you and your entire family. Remember, we're WVTC Gospel Radio Network, where
we're winning victory through Christ.
WVTC Radio. Sit back and relax. Tune in. Elder Miller, where we bring light to darkness. Come on in and enjoy this show. We got a nice one for you today.
Until I reach the higher ground, we will fight till the end, 'cause we win, and He is our friend. No, I won't back down until I reach the higher ground. We will fight till the end, 'cause we win, and He is our friend. We win, we win, we win. Don't give up, 'cause we win, 'cause we win. Stand strong. We're not going nowhere. We're standing here. So get it clear, and we won't live in fear. You can't defeat us, 'cause it's a never-ending dream. So my people, stay strong and hold on, 'cause we win.
Well. Good evening. How y'all
Right.
doing? It's your boy, Elder Gerald Miller, and co-host Dorian H. Nash. Man, I love that. Pew, pew, pew.
Well, that was a wonderful song. That was, and they're out of Chicago.
Yeah, you know what? We win. Since we on one accord with that, right? I asked our engineer to pull up something, and he pulled that up, and that was so appropriate for what we're going to be talking about tonight, you all.
Come on now.
We really do win, but it's a mindset, right? We're talking about
absolutely
this month, and man, this is a topic like no other because there's so much going on in today's world, and we just want to see where people are today, really, you know, with their mental, their health. What they're thinking, you know, how people are getting over, how people are getting through in these trying times. And before we even go any further, we really want to thank God for our engineer. We want to thank God for WVTC Radio, Winning Victory Through Christ. We're grateful for all that they've done and allowed us to do to bring you the good news with Elder Miller and co-host Dorian H. Nash. We don't take anything for granted, and we're very grateful. And I'm truly, truly grateful for my sister. She's a sister like no other than being blood. I mean, I can call on her at any given time, and she's there.
Come on now, and that goes both ways. Yep.
I mean, I'm elated to be able to call her sister or a friend. I don't use those words loosely because I know what it is to become a friend and a brother. So with that being said, you all, we have to start it off like we start off each and every one of our shows, giving God the glory, because without him, there would be no us. And our scripture verse here is Luke 14, chapter 14, verse 23 says, and he said unto the servants, go out into the hedgeways and the byways and tell the people of God about his word so that his house may be filled. And that's what we do here at the Good News with Elder Miller. And man, I'm telling you all, God is up to something and God is speaking. My thought on all of this is that I just pray to God that we're on his timing with everything that we're doing, because we see a lot taking place. And with that being said, I'm going to alley-oop it over to my sister, and we're going to get right on into this discussion tonight when we're discussing Mental Awareness Month. I have talking to some people that are going to come on. I'm very excited about them coming in. Also, we may get Dr. Jenkins in today and get his take on some of this as well. He's not a physician, but he does have great wisdom when it comes to being a doctor and a pastor, as it is in the field that he pastors. So we want to get his opinion, and as well as our opinion as where we're going with this thing on Mental Awareness Month. Take it away, sis.
Well, first of all, I'm glad and happy just to be here tonight. This is we have to make certain adjustments when we need to make them. And so I'm not in the studio with you, but I'm with you in spirit. But I'm here remotely and just really glad that we get to continue and have these conversations. I really appreciate when we're able. I love it when we have our guests. Of course we do, but sometimes it's nice to kind of take a breath and just have a kind of a longer conversation. And we're just talking to our audience about a particular subject. And since this is Mental Health Awareness Month, I think it's only appropriate that we begin the month talking about that. And we'll talk about it periodically. And I know that we've started sharing last week and we'll continue to share about the event that's happening May 24th that we are supporting and sharing in through the coffee, hip hop, and mental health. If you're familiar, they have a coffee shop on 1051 West Belmont, but they're throwing their first annual gala, as it were, fundraising gala towards mental health, meaning that the monies that are raised from this event will then go towards people that otherwise could not afford mental health services. There's a waiting list roughly of about, if I recall correctly, about 47 people. And they have a goal in mind to be able to bring the majority, if not all of those people on the waiting list off the waiting list due to this fundraiser. So don't get, oh my God, the tickets are $100. Yeah. How much is your mental health worth? You know what I mean? So when you look at it in terms of what it's going for and how it's going to help people, it's going to be located at the Starbucks Roastery on 646 North Michigan. Yep. Thank you. I was just going to ask if we could put that up. So again, I'm just excited that we get to support and again have this kind of longer conversation.
Yeah.
Also, last week when I was here, I had to come in remotely. I said, Lord, I got to get another light. As the evening progressed, it got darker and darker.
Right.
You know,
right, exactly.
So Lord, let me fix this light. So
right.
we're able to do that. And I mean, but all jokes aside, we got to have fun in what we do.
Absolutely.
But again, like I said, I'm really, really glad that we get to again share and support. And so for those of you that are listening, just go to Eventbrite, go to and just type in coffee, hip hop, and mental health. You'll see the event pull up. And if you're able to, get a ticket. I think the goal is to sell 300 tickets, and they're really close to selling out. I think last count, I think they're at 200. So, I believe in being transparent. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
so
right.
If they're at 200 and it's May 1st and the event is May 24th, that's 23 days from now. We need to sell it out and just, be a blessing. Right.
Yeah.
So Cheryl says,
good evening.
I saw GE. Well, I don't know what
that is. Good evening.
Good evening. Okay, thank you. Good evening, Cheryl.
Good evening to one of our number one listeners.
On the acronyms. I can't always get them at the first.
Yeah, I caught it.
But I get there. But so yeah, we just wanted to talk about that and just kind of, when you look at the news today,
yes,
there's a lot of stuff that's happening around, our legislation and gun control and things like that. And when you see the news and the ways that people are just unaliving people, I hear that on social media all the time. People get unalived, killed, murdered, right? And but I bet if you were able to have the conversation with most, if not all of those people, some realm of mental, some sort of therapy or some sort of intervention could have changed the trajectory of the way certain things went down. And so to me, it's that, all the more important. I think we talked about it last week, but I am still reminded, and it still haunts me, that someone could go. There's this couple that went to their neighbor and they said, hey, we got a small baby. You're shooting your gun. We're asking if you could, stop shooting for tonight. And so our baby can get some sleep. He told them, hey, I can do whatever I want to do. And essentially he let them walk back into their home. And then he walked over and then basically took out the family. I think the youngest victim was 8 years old. And there were adults that were on top of the children trying to protect them from the onslaught of bullets. And the person that shot them, I don't know, I think I thought that they were going to be older, but the person was only 39. So I'm thinking, what was going on in his mind, in his heart, that would allow him to say, this is a good idea. Right. This is how I deal with criticism. This is how I deal with someone asking me to just not shoot at this hour. Right. And, I don't know how they said it. I don't know if they said it nicely. I don't know if they said it not nicely. Doesn't justify you killing them, and so it breaks my heart to hear of such an atrocity, but to know that tomorrow and tomorrow after that and tomorrow after that, we will still hear these types of stories. And I don't want to get numb to it. And I know that you don't either, Pastor G, but it's challenging when you keep getting this onslaught. And it's really a lot of it tied to mental health.
Oh, absolutely. I would agree with you 100%. I mean, it's dealing with life. As we say on here, life be lifing.
Life be lifing.
Life be life. And we don't know the magnitude of what people have on their minds these days.
Yeah.
And I mean, just to piggyback on what you were saying, I by me being a truck driver and being on the road a lot, I just look at how the road rage it just seems like it's on a whole nother level. I mean, people run you over. I mean, you know how we used to have respect for funerals or have respect for the fire truck or the ambulance or whatever the case may be. man, I mean, that just isn't the case anymore. People will run you down, period.
Yeah.
They don't care. You know, you would think they was the ones with the lights and silent. And then you got these young kids. I mean, they just drive so fast. And I'm saying to myself, is it that I done got older? But I'm like, you know, going down these side streets doing 100 is ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, I live on Central Park and Main Street in Park Forest, and they've literally turned my street into like a drag strip. I mean, they go down my street, and then I'm saying to myself, okay, you know, because I got ears of the mayor, and one of my things was, you know what, maybe we can install those speed bumps. Then I say, you know what, we do the speed bumps, we're gonna probably have even more problems because you're gonna have people that's flying down the street, and then they hit that speed bump flying at 100. Now they out of control and killing somebody or going through somebody's house. So it's like, you know, it's one of them situations where it's like, man, you darn if you do, you darn if you don't. How do you address it? Do you put a policeman down there? I mean, it's bananas, you know.
Well, let me tell you something. I think all of us that are familiar with those speed bumps, all you gotta do is one time. Hit that speed bump one time.
Right, yeah, but
you're gonna slow yourself down because it's gonna change.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, you definitely going, man. And some of them they making them really tall too. So I mean, if you hit them, buddy, they doing some damage. But see, the fear that is that we do have kids that's out. You know what I'm saying? Sure. And if they do it, because you got to just be real. And I see it on a regular basis. So many people are out here with distracted driving. They're not paying attention. You know, and that's part of why, I know I'm a State Farm. You know, I got my insurance through State Farm, and I got a beacon in my truck right now, right? And that's all a part of what they got going on. Basically, they can tell when I'm on my cell phone. They can tell if I'm speeding. They can talk about my braking. They even got an app on there that talks about your curve, how you're taking the corners, right? And I'm like,
okay, so let's talk about that a little bit, because don't get me wrong, I know that they're doing this, quote unquote, for the sense of safety, but I also think it's an invasion of privacy.
Well, you know what? That and also is going to put us in a bag where they're not going to see. The bottom line is that they're putting themselves in position not to pay for a lot of these claims.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, you were on the street. And it's 35, you were doing 45. Now they got record to show, hey, I don't really have to pay. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, that was your negligence, or you were breaking, or because on mine, and here's the thing too, like you said, invasion of privacy. They even have the app on there that can show you if you're hands free or not as well. Right?
Yeah.
So if you in your car and you don't have your hands free on, it also tells you that. So guess what? I use a lot of times laying my phone down and I'll speak on my speakerphone a lot. So I don't have hands free. So basically on my app, it says I need to work on my hands free, basically. So if something happen, basically, I'm in a row.
But you're right, though. It's setting it up for them not to pay claims. And my thing is this. Everybody, car insurance is mandatory. You can't not have it. So you pay a premium each month for them to then tell you, but we ain't paying for your claim. Yeah. But you make sure that I have to have it, but I can never utilize it. That is some kind of robbery. That's the biggest pimpdom there. That's a big pimp game right there.
Yeah, and you know what? I think about the people that have insurance that haven't used it in years and years and years and years. You know what I'm saying? That money just accumulates. We don't get it back. You know what I'm saying? So it's bananas, right? But this is the type of stuff that we deal with, you all. It's something that always puts us in the position where, they gonna get theirs. What say, sis?
I just want to hear from my audience. I know people are listening. Do you think it's an invasion of privacy? Should we be advocating, if I am accident free, claim free, should I not get some sort of
bonus,
some dividend or stipend back? Maybe not the entire premium, but something to say, good job.
Now hold on. Now this is what's gonna crack you up, right? So we got it for all three of our vehicles, right? So my Cherokee, it just sits in the driveway. So we don't drive it, right? No need for it right now. So State Farm sent me out another beacon, right, to say, hey, well, we think the battery's dead in that beacon. So here we want you to have another one. So basically what they saying is, hey, install this other beacon because that one ain't working. Yes, it works. The truck is sitting in the driveway with the battery unconnected. That's why it isn't working, because we don't.
But see how they're monitoring it? Yeah.
Huh?
See how they're monitoring it?
Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. So they're definitely on top of it. So now we got an extra beacon sitting at home on the kitchen table, right? But the point is that I was told by my agent, they'll see that I'm not driving it at some point, and then I'll, on that particular vehicle, my insurance will go down, right? But also, I was told too that if you take any type of defensive classes or anything like that, you can also upload that and get more discount, off of your insurance. But here's the kicker: if you don't, then your insurance is subject to go up. It's like, come on, man, really? It's, man, I'm telling you, I don't know, but like I say, but you know what though? This is one of the reasons why we're talking about mental illness, right? Because you just don't know. People are being fed up with the fed up, right? I mean, let's just think about it, you all. We got 2,000 years, 200 years of slavery on our back, or however long it's been. Every nationality, as far, you can quote me if I'm wrong, every nationality, as far as I know, has been awarded reparation, right? Except for us.
Or at least an apology.
I mean, don't ever
say, you know what? My bad. We shouldn't have put you in them internment camps. We're sorry.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I want some money. You know what I'm saying?
But what I'm just saying, there's an acknowledgement.
Oh, yeah. No. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, come on, man. Sometimes, because I work in Joliet and I work in a lot of other places where, pretty wealthy people, live and stuff like that. So I'm like, I look at their lifestyles, man. I'm like, wow, just not I'm judging when I say not a care in the world, because I know people that got money and still, aren't happy. But the bottom line is, I would like to have some toys too. You know what I'm saying? All the toys and all. I mean, man, the Autobahn, they got Lamborghini, Ferraris. I mean, I'll be like, man,
But again, you and I both know that you can have all the money in the world, so not be happy. It's not the money that's going to bring you the happiness. And again, this still ties back to the mental health question that we've been posing, and certainly we want to hear from our audiences. We're taking this moment to address it. But this is all connected, because you and I, we grew up in a generation where TV had initially just 4 or 5 channels before cable. I remember TV before cable, right?
Yes.
And what that was, you had VHF and UHF.
Right.
I remember that.
Cut off at 11:59.
And it cut off, and then they be playing Star Spangled Banner, and the TV would cut off. TV would be off, right?
Yeah, totally.
So I remember what that was like, right? But everything now is a la carte. So your TV is a la carte. The stations that you watch, if you want to watch BET, you got to pay for that. If you want to watch HBO, you got to pay for that. If you want to watch, even the local channels now, they make it where you almost got to pay for that.
Pay for that, yeah.
You got to pay, to get, water. People want bottled water. You got to pay for that. You want to, do anything. They have created a way where it's a la carte, and your privacy is less and less, right? And so when you combine that with how the cost of living has gone up, but not the income, and people are feeling pressed. People are feeling oppressed and pressed when it comes to their finances. And then, on the heels of a pandemic and the isolation and what the chaos that created. Yeah. And now, COVID, here's the thing. COVID is still here. People are still, I've had just 2 recent colleagues who have just recovered from COVID, right? They're still here. It wasn't fatal. It may not be as fatal, but one got very, very ill, one not as ill. Right. But the fact remains is that we're out here in these streets like COVID still ain't here. and still impacting us. And again, you can have varying views about what that might look like. But what I'm saying is all the different things that we're dealing with as life is life and around us. It's no wonder, that we don't talk about mental health as much as we should, just by the very nature of the pulls on our physical, on our bodies, on our mental health, on our finances, on our emotions. There's a lot that's happening.
You know what? And you just said a mouthful, sis. I would even have to go as far as to talk about my life, because as far as for me, I was just telling my wife this the other day. I'm 55 years old, and I'm at a point now in my life where I may have to reinvent myself. I was in a field that was very lucrative, which is trucking. You know what I'm saying? It's a field where you don't need any degrees. In less than 6 weeks, you could actually be making a 6-figure income, right? It's like you said, making a 6-figure income is great, but at the end of the day, now that the fuel is going up so high, the rates are going down, because you got so many people that have gotten in the trucking, and they're cutting the rates. I'm talking about not in half, like I'm talking about almost next to nothing. I'm talking about loads you would make $1,000 doing, they're cut them all the way down to 500. So, matter of fact, I had a dispatcher called me and another one of the drivers last week. They were trying to get a load off that paid $600, and and the miles on it was 550 miles. Dude, I go to
mile.
Yeah, and that wasn't even $1, sis.
Yeah.
About it, 500 miles, you got to put 400 in your truck for fuel.
Wow. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then don't let your truck break. So now you at a point where you almost got to ground your truck. It's darn if you're doing it, darn if you don't. Are you going to work or aren't you? You know what I'm saying? So it's getting rough out here, man. And I mean, you do.
But the stress of that. I mean, you along with other truckers are dealing with the stress of how am I going to make a living? You know what I'm saying? And be sustainable.
Yeah, and it's been like this for the last 9 months. As I pump a numerous amount of money into my truck, which also allows me to fall behind on my bills. You know what I'm saying? Especially for someone like myself, not being used to not having, and now what is my mental state like? Now losing my mom behind all of this, and then trying to take care of family, you know what I'm saying, and just live, you know what I'm saying? Will life be life? And
well, that's when we say, but God, right? But for the grace of God, there go I. And because you are a man of faith, that what has sustained you. But obviously, we know a lot of people don't have that grounding, don't have that support. Yeah. And when you don't have that support, and when you don't have that type of faith that allows you to think of something beyond yourself, it leads to all types of breakdowns and shutdowns and things that can be really detrimental. We are at the 7:30 mark of our show. I think we're going to just take a quick break if that's okay, Pastor G. And
we're going to keep on talking to the engineer. Get back. He stepped out, so we'll keep on going. Once he gets in, I'll give him a head.
Okay. No problem. But again, but man, we're here talking about the good news with Elder Miller. Because there is good news in this, in spite of all that we're talking about, right? Because we're still drawing breath. We still have the activities of our limbs. We still, have the faculties of our minds. And certainly there are some people that went to bed last night that didn't wake up this morning. We know that to be the case. But I was listening to the scientist Tyson DeGrassi. Is that his name? He was saying, he says, what people don't realize is the miracle in that you are even born. People take for granted, he said, that the mere fact that whatever it took for you to be born amongst, we know how babies are born, right? But the miracle in that taking place is, I forget the statistic that he gave, because some people like, well, babies happen all the time, and I guess from our understanding they do, but when he was trying to look at, he says, you don't understand what it took for that embryo to be fertilized and then come through the birth canal and be born, that in itself and the odds of that compared to the ones that were not born is astronomical. And so I never thought about that. I'm like, really?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I was in a training class before, and I had a pastor that was teaching about that, and actually he had a diagram up, and it talks about how many it's millions of what do they call millions of cells or whatever, and they're fighting to get to the
zygotes.
Yeah. It's millions of them, literally. And I mean, he showed the pictures of it and everything. And like you said, we don't understand that we are miracles because we actually made it to, you know what I'm saying? We made it to the conception and to be born and birth out of all that, you know, and but the bottom line too is that we, well, how can I put it? We need to find more, I guess, to be grateful for than less, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Because they're, you know, I even for myself, I always kind of look at the bad, you know.
Well, we have a tendency, it's human nature.
You tend because of the attraction that it has. You know what I'm saying? It's just like news. If we look at the news, it's always bad, and that's one of the main reasons why God gave me the avenue to create this show, because you know we got to start shining some light on some good stuff because we want to give people hope, right? We don't want to hope them. We want to allow, you know, let people see that, guess what? We going through the same thing you going through, but this is how we're getting through, right? Exactly. I'm able to call on my sister because we already know a lot of times if you tell somebody you need help or whatever like that, we call that weak, right?
Ooh, speak on that.
That's the biggest trick of the enemy, you know, because even for me, I'm just being transparent. Even for me, when I go and I tell my wife, I'm suffering. I'm not good. You know, it took me.
Can I just say how incredible that is that you have a spouse and that you yourself are able to say to your spouse, "Hey, I'm struggling."
Yeah.
That in itself is so amazing. It still may not feel good. It still may not take away whatever it is that the struggle, but the mere fact that you are able to express yourself and that you have a wife that receives that and says, "Baby, it's going to be okay." I know your wife. I know Angie is like, you know, "Come on, Gerald, it's going to be okay." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we need that. Right? That can be the difference between us picking up and taking one more step, and that one more step leads us to victory, or the opposite, not having that and you know, doing something stupid or crazy, taking your life, taking other people's lives, or just going into a full-blown depression that you can't get out of. And so I just want to encourage you and those that are listening that, to your point earlier, which I thought was so amazing, that it is the opposite is true. When you're able to express your vulnerability, you're actually being very strong. And it is not, you're right, it is not looked upon that way a lot of times, but it should be, because it takes a lot just to be able to say sometimes, "Hey, I'm not okay." You know?
Well, you know what, sis? I think that, and I'm learning this as we learn life, right?
Sure.
Life be lifing.
Yeah.
Is that for a lot of us, we get this thing in the back of our minds where we have to be strong all the time, you know what I'm saying, as men, right? And this ain't got nothing to do with a man of God or whatever. It's just men in general. We have so much on our backs, and we'll get to the points where we shut down, and things can happen. Like, I mean, divorce, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, once a male gets to that point where they feel like they're less than, you know what I'm saying? They don't open up or they don't get the proper help. You get these type of situations where and you got to think about, like you said, the 39-year-old male that was shooting his gun, and the guy just probably went over and asked him, "Hey, my man, can you?" And see, that's another thing too, that pride. We know what happens when pride gets involved. Just because he went over there and said something to another male, right? He reacted and got it in his mind that he was going to take a whole family out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when we're talking about mental awareness, you all, this thing is real, right? Depression is real, right? And these are the type of things that we need to talk about, not just for a month. I think we need to bring awareness to this as much as we can, right? Because we need to keep it up forefront, because there are a lot of people that are suffering from it. I mean, think about this, you all. We got 15, 16, 17, and 8. And I'll continue to put light on this. 18-year-olds that will go out and put masks on, and some of them not even putting on masks, and carjack you, and they'll get your possessions, but they still think it's fitting to take your life. You know what I'm saying? And that's the part that's, you know, it hurts that they're doing it at such a young age, because guess what, you all? That's mental. Yeah, that's mental. Someone has tricked them into the mindset of, let's go do, and guess what, you all? They're doing these type of things for fun. They're calling this fun, and that's a problem. Yeah, that's a problem. If we don't address these issues, you all, this is our future.
Well, I think there's and again, I would love for some of our audience members to weigh in. I do think that there's a contingent of these young people that are doing it for fun. I also think there's a contingent of people that are just following other people, right? That don't know how to speak up and have agency to say, hey, maybe we shouldn't do that. But I also think there's another contingency of people, because they don't value their lives and don't expect that they will live beyond a certain age, that they don't have that for anybody. And so once somebody has lost their will to live, the thought of life or the sanctity of life really goes out of the window. And that's where our young people, I think, are truly suffering, because they don't see themselves getting to the age of 70, 80 years old. And so they can't see anybody else doing the same thing. And so life is nothing for some of these kids. And it's just a, you know, like, if I'm here, cool. And if I'm not here, cool. There's no type of, I have a purpose for some of these kids. And I think that is the grounding, or should be part of the grounding when you're talking about mental health, when you're talking about, you know, being aware of why you're even here on this planet, being the miracle that you are, right? You're a miracle, but if you don't feel like a miracle, you're not going to handle yourself like you're a miracle, or that you're important, or that what you do and what you say matters. Because if you don't believe it, nobody else is going to believe that about you either. And even when you do believe it, it's still hard. But if you don't even have that type in your gut to know who you belong to, who you are, and whose you are, then nothing is really going to stick. And I think that's the thing that I've seen time and time and time again in various ways with our young people, and with some of our, you know, people that are our age and older. They've lost that hope. They've lost that purpose. And that's the thing that is so detrimental.
You know what? And another thing too that comes to mind is like last Thursday, right? So, you know, I coach baseball, and one of the coaches was at the park, and these kids, they have no remorse. They definitely have no respect, right? So we're on the baseball field, and one of the coaches, which is one of the coach moms, she gets out the car, her and her son, they're on their way to the field. And she said she saw 4 young ladies, which I saw them as well. They were on the playground, and I mean, they were cussing like, I mean, I was just, when I looked at them, these young girls couldn't have been, sis, when I tell you, they couldn't have been no more than 9, 10, 11 or so, right?
9, 10, 11? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and they
dropped. Let me confess my sin. When I was 15, 16, 17, I cussed like a sailor. I did.
but here's the difference. Like when we saw somebody grown, when we saw somebody grown, I think we all did. I mean, let's be transparent. But I'm saying that when we saw somebody grown, we stopped, right? True. When we even to the point where sometime when we were growing up, if we saw senior citizens on one side of the street, we went on the other side of the street because we
that's true,
right?
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm talking about. Let me tell you something. She said she got out the car and she said she couldn't take it. She said, look, young ladies, you all are too beautiful to be, talking like that. Is everything okay? Man, she say they told her, you don't get your boo-doo-doo, bloop-bloop, blind looking self, dreadlock self. She said they let her
lit her up.
Right? Yeah. To the point where
you're right about that. Yeah.
She said, you know what? Call the police. I said rightfully so, because these kids are doing a lot of this stuff with no repercussions, and they getting away with a lot of it, so they think anyway. But the bottom line is that when you don't think of the consequences, this is what we see. These kids, they roll with no remorse. They think of no repercussions because, for one, they feel like, hey, the system is really truly on their side, because a lot of them, just like the 15-year-old kids that hit the gentleman, what was that, 2 months ago? Because that's when I lost my mom, and it happened around the same time because they had his funeral at funeral home. My mom had hers. Where the kids out there, Markham, hit the guy and killed him as he was bagging out his driveway.
Okay.
At 15 years old. Well, guess what? He wound up. He was 14, about to be 15. So guess what? He's turned over to his parents.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, he's turned back over to his parents until he's of age, I guess, to go to court for what he's done. But the bottom line is that that's a slap on the wrist. You done just killed somebody. First of all, he was in a stolen car, doing 101 down the side street, and hit another male coming out of his driveway.
Right.
And he's going back home with his parents.
But I mean, let's think about that for a moment. So on the surface level, it looks like that's a slap on the wrist. But unless that young man got some sort of intervention that included therapy, that included for him to learn what empathy is, even though right now it may look like he's gotten away with it, he's going to continue to grow up and still continue to cause harm. And not only to other people, but to himself. No one gets away with anything. What's that phrase? Karma has everybody's address, right?
Yeah, true.
And then about the whole thing about you reap what you sow. And this is not about vendettas, but it's just about how whatever you are was produced in you, and how you respond to other people, that comes back to you. And so it may look like that in the beginning, but that young man is going to suffer behind those decisions if there's not an intervention for help for him to understand truly what he's done and the impact that he's made on that family that lost that brother, that son, that father, that they'll never have any more Christmases together, birthdays, no more celebrations. He doesn't he has not recognized the harm that he's caused. And it's just going to cycle into more and more harm. And that's the scary thing. Has our producer come back into the building?
Yes, he has. So I was just about to take the words out of my mouth.
Yeah. So we'll come right back in 2 minutes for the last 20 minutes of the show, and we'll finish out with our Saying Ain't So segment. So stay with us. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Peace.
There's another person inside of you. A healthy person. A fit person screaming to get out. Time Fitness will help you find that fit person. Time Fitness clients eat to live, not live to eat. 95% of you dream of a flat stomach but have no clue on how to make that happen. Time Fitness is the master of making that stomach disappear. Want to look younger? Time Fitness. Isn't it time you take care of you? Contact us now for a free 2-pound protein powder meal replacement, 2 free guest passes, 1-time free Time Fitness t-shirt. Each client gets personal training guide and workout journal. Time Fitness will help you live a healthy lifestyle and improve your quality of life. www.tymefitness.com 773-458-5084. Living out of town? No problem. Time Fitness can still work with you each month. Ask us how. Time Fitness. www.timefitness.com.
It's time to introduce you to Time, T-Y-M-E, the guy who is unique and multi-talented and confident. The mission, to satisfy clients and give them the best service possible. Time is a person who gives 100% and is always laser focused. It's from motivational speaking, acting, modeling clothes, fitness coach, a live radio show talking about living a healthy lifestyle for life. Time is also an author, and not to mention an ordained deacon. Time is also a businessman that sells furs, minks, and leather coats. Time is a role model for the world. His biggest talent? Giving. Giving is an art, and Time is a charity called Cheerful Giver. God loves a cheerful giver, which by now you have figured out that Time is very creative and loves working with his toolbox, aka his mind. If you need Time services, contact 773-458-5084 or email thebody1@yahoo.com. TYME. It's time.
All right. We are back. Hey, we would be remiss if we don't remind you. Can people still vote tonight? Tonight is the very last night. They can still vote for the Stellar Awards and the Internet Radio Show of the Year.
Yeah, I believe it is, right? Yeah, yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
So if we could put that up and just remind people to, hey guys, for those that are listening tonight, this is an opportunity to continue to support us. We appreciate the support. We love and thank you for that. But if you have not voted and you have the opportunity to vote tonight is the last night to vote for the Stellar Awards. And we are nominated for Internet Radio Station of the Year. We won it last year. We want to repeat that legacy. Right. So please support us and join in and vote for us.
Amen.
All right. Amen.
We got another announcement before we get into our Say It Ain't So segment. If I engineer that up there, you all, I want to announce to you all that we got a Mother's Day event coming up, you all, with the Temptations and Ray Goodman and Brown, Hale Melvin and the Blue Notes. The information is right
anniversary.
There. Right.
Oh, man, I just love me some Ray Goodman.
Right. We would love for you all to go out there and support it. You can see where to get the tickets there on the screen. Our engineer has put it up there for you all. There's a number on there as well if you need to reach out to the person that's over this event. You all will not regret going out to this, because I'm telling you, it's, like you say, so what's the more cuss that the Temptations got and Ray Brown and Goodman? What's up?
In terms of some of the songs that they've done?
Yeah. What's another song? Good song.
What was that song? Last night we cried together, right? Or OJ's they did Love Train, or they did
well, lots of them.
Lots of them. Backstabbers. Money. You're right. That's OJ's. That's not the Temptations.
The brothers got some mean dance.
Imagination.
Right. So you all go out there and support that event, you all, that's coming up for Mother's Day. If you don't have anything to do, it would be nice to take your mother out to that.
That's gonna
ultimate, you all. So with that being said, you all, brings us up to the Say It Ain't So segment. So, this right here, you all, this Say It Ain't So. I got this app on my phone, right? And it brings news to me, right? Because I like to stay on top of news. Anybody know anything about me? I'm a news junkie. So I called my sis. I say, sis, check it out. Have you heard? I was like, Serena Williams, man, she got into it with Venus, talking about she done stole from her. And I'm thinking like, okay, they both rich. Serena like a billionaire, not already. Right. And I'm like, she done stole some money from my sister. I'm like, say it ain't so. So I told her, when I got into the story, I had to do some research on it and everything like that. But guess what, you all? Upon further review, say it ain't so. Found out that and her sister was just doing stuff that sisters and brothers do, siblings do, right? Because it's
annoying one another. Yeah.
I've gone to my house. Gone to my sister's house, and I may see something, and I'll be like, Is that my bag? And be like, no, boy, that ain't your bag. Man, I sure am missing my bag like that. You know what I'm saying? So
let me just say though. Let me say, I'm gonna put my mom, Miss Eleanor Ratcliffe, on blast. I'm gonna put her on blast for just a moment, because when I saw that show, I saw that news report about Serena, and they were just doing it. So it's all in fun. So yeah, she may have taken a towel or whatever, but it was
right. You saw that.
She's like, you know.
Right.
But let me tell you, Miss Eleanor Ratcliffe comes to my house on the regular. First of all, she'll come to my house and she'll tell me to my face, what am I taking home today? Right.
Right.
So she lets me know when she comes to the door, or I'm walking out of here with something, right? And so she'll go in my jewelry box or something. If anyone that knows me, I love watches, right? So I got 3 million watches in my thing, in my jewelry box. And so she reached in, she says, "Oh," and so she's like shopping. She's like, "Well, I like this one," and she's just picking them out. And then, so once she put on, she said, "Help me put this on," right? So I'm putting it on. She's my mom, I'm gonna say. So I put it on, but as the hour went on, she said, "You know what? This one is a little tight. Get another one that fits better." I said, "So I'm supposed to help you see it." And she was like, "Yeah, go on, give me. You know what I like. Go on, give me another." And so that's my mom. She's just gonna flat out tell you to your face. I'm not gonna hide it. I'm not gonna, you know.
Right.
I'm just gonna tell you, I'm walking out of here with something. She'll go in my pantry. She was like, "Oh, you got 2 boxes of rice. I'm gonna get one."
Right.
You got 3 loaves of bread. Oh, let me get one of those.
Right. Well, we know that. Look, we know that to be true with my youngest daughter and my oldest. My youngest daughter, boy, when she comes to the house, something is going back to North Carolina with her. You know, when you get there, you gonna see it. You be like, "Is that my pants?" So you be like, "Nope, nope." I mean,
boy, they need to go to the school of Eleanor, who just gonna tell you to your face, "Yep, they're yours." But it's mine now.
Right. They like, look, I got this new thing. Like I tell people, man, one of my guys, he has a DJ equipment, right? So he has a car, and I told him, I say, "Man, look, check it out. I got the pickup. I say, anytime you need to use the pickup truck, it's like both ours. I just keep it at my house and pay the note on it." so whatever you need to move your equipment, man, it's yours, you know.
Oh, that's too funny. So it was good to laugh and smile. You know, a lot of our Say It Ain't So's have been kind of sad, or, you know, just like, can't believe. But this was a good Say It Ain't So regarding the Williams sisters and the ways that they purposely go out of the way sometimes to annoy one another, as siblings do. You know, just to have things at their house, and, you know, because the way that the social media and the news reports made it seem like, I saw one headline said Serena has disinvited her sister to her home.
Right. Oh my God.
I was like, oh my God, Say It Ain't So. Just, you know, just reading the headlines. And see, that's why it's important to read things through. Because if you just read the headline, you would think that something, you know, this was an awful thing that happened, but really they were just joking around with one another. And her sister was just, you know, just having fun with her.
Right. Because when I saw it when I called you before I even went into it, I was like, man, Say It Ain't So. They talking about Serena say Venus stole some money from her. But I ran with it. But that's how we do, right?
Well, I mean, and that's the thing, that they want to, you know, sensationalize it so that we get all caught up and you know, because we just looked at the headline but didn't really, you know, read the content. Right. I mean, there's a word in there. There's a word in there about, you know, just running with something and not really understanding the content of something.
Thank you.
So I appreciated the fact that once I began to read it, I was like, oh, okay, this
is what it was, right? Because when you called, I was like, I found out, sister. I was like, wow, but I was cracking up though. So they showed Serena, she was at the house and she was working out. She said she looked over and was like, "Is that my workout machine?" So Venus was cold when she was taking whole machines. Then she said she looked up and was like, "Do you all see that?" And she had the nerve to hang the towel up.
Right. With the big S on it.
Big S on it. I was
what took me out was she said, "Is that my dog?" You know.
Right.
Do you have my dog? You know. And then Verena's just sitting there, like, you know, doing her exercises, like
right. Just stretched out and everything. I was like, boy, they hilarious, man. I love it.
Yeah. So that was a good setting. So you know,
right. Yeah,
I hope we'll have more of those. And So, I want to thank our audience for listening. And, we have about 4 minutes or so before we close out. Again, I just can't say it enough. Please vote for us, here at WVTC Internet Radio, Gospel Radio. We need your support. We thank you for your support. Tonight is the last night. Right. So if you have the opportunity, please vote. Also, if our producer could also put up on the screen yet again the flyer for Coffee, Hip Hop, and Mental Health, the fundraising gala that will take place May 24th, I believe at 6 p.m. at Starbucks Roastery at 646 North Michigan. That's the real big one, right? Yeah. And it makes sense that the establishment is coffee, and we're having it take place at Starbucks, so it makes sense. How many times have you just kind of had to gather yourself around a cup of coffee or some tea? You just needed a moment, and so that's kind of where the genesis of that. And in this inspiring month, that this is Mental Health Awareness Month. The color is green. I don't think I mentioned that before. If you do decide to buy a ticket, it is being asked of all of us that are supporting, that are in attendance, to wear green. Your entire outfit does not have to be green, but maybe you have a green tie, a green handkerchief, some green jewelry. The rest of your attire is black. So similar to that, you see those gentlemen and the young lady she happens to be in an entirely green dress, but you can wear your tux and wear a green tie or whatever the case may be. But we're asking for the color green to be worn in some shape, form, or fashion. We know you can do that because we love to get dressed. We love to get down. So I know it's going to be amazing, preferably emerald green. But if you walk up in there in some line, we still let you in.
Right. I got a green tie because that's what we wore for my mom's services. We wore some green. So yeah, I got that. Oh, sis, let me ask you this now. So like me and my wife attended, we would have to do the 200. Because I think I saw when I went, I think it said something about 175 for a couple or something. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's 175 for a couple.
Okay. So I went on when you sent it to me.
Yeah. So
we just coming back off our cruise.
Yeah. So wait, did you get your tickets already, or you're going to?
I have to get them. I have to get them before y'all see them. Yeah.
No problem. But for those that are listening, please, this entire hour we've devoted and let me just say, I'm, like I said in the beginning, so appreciative that we could just have this moment and just have a conversation, you and I, and look forward to some other guests that we'll be having throughout the month discussing the same subject. But it was just really good just to have this discussion between you and I and share that with the audience. And we want your input and your feedback. If after the show and you have an opportunity on Facebook to comment, we want your comments as well. Absolutely. We want to hear from you if you have a business that you want to be advertised, or that, again, comments to the show, or some guests that you would like to see on the show. Please feel free to leave those comments as well on our Facebook page. And I'm going to shut up now before and let you close us out, Pastor G.
Amen. Thank you, sis, for being on as well. It's been a blessing. Like you said, it was so awesome to be able to just sit and talk when talking about Mental Illness Awareness Month. We're going to definitely be bringing some good people to you all that's going to be able to discuss this. And we want you all to please share and tell somebody about Winning Victory Through Christ, WVTC Radio. You all, we're trying to get some great content to you guys. And in order for us to continue to do what we do, we need your support. And that's simply by sharing and letting somebody know that we're on here. Yep. And also we do have gospel music 365 days a year. Just log on to the website. We got very good music, you all. Quartet, old school, whatever you listen to, we got it on there 365 days. And from my understanding, I listen to it, it's uninterrupted too. No buffering or anything. So it's straight through, it's clear. And you'll be able to get it in like 106.3 when you go across 87th and State and go out. I ain't put no shade on nobody, but you know how I do. Once you get to 87th and State, they go out on you. It'd be your best song. You know, so you get 87th and State and they go clean out on you. Be like, what the heck? But shout out, man, to WVTC Radio for the clarity that we have coming to you all through the radio waves. We're gonna get out of here, you all. We hope and pray that you all enjoy tonight's show. You all, please let somebody know what we're doing over here at WVTC Radio till we get ready to see you all again. Much love, much peace, and happiness. Until you all, pew, and we out. Bless you.
And we out. Peace.
Yep. Peace.
Views made on the preceding program are not those of WVTC Radio, iNetworks Communications, or their financial supporters.
Winning victory through Christ. WVTC Allsip Chicago.